Hello, this is Dr. Elena Estanol, #1 international bestselling author, peak performance psychologist, and intuitive prosperity business mentor. And I am recording this video because after having so many people asking me about how do I start a business, how do I pick a niche, this idea of picking a niche is a little mind-blowing, just how overwhelming it seems to be for most of us when we're starting. It's funny because when I think about it now, it's like, okay, well, that's really simple. But the reality of it is that I really struggled with this. And when I think about actually my integrative wellness practice, I have realized that niching has become a much harder job now that we have multiple clinicians that are working with us. Because when I started on my own, I could say that I specialized in this and this, and that was very specific, and people got to know me for that. And while I have been very careful to make sure that I have hired other clinicians and other employees that have that same strength, they also have their own particular specialties and gifts, and therefore the offerings that we have expanded. And in some ways, this has become a pretty big marketing challenge for me. So now I am here because I want to talk to you about why niching is so important. Because in some ways, most people, when you're starting your business, you really are worried about leaving some people out. But the reality is that when you are talking to everybody, then you are not talking to anybody. Part of being able to understand a niche and a target market, which are two different things, and I will talk a little bit about that, is that when you really truly understand your niche, and your niche is really the area that you are going to focus on providing a particular transformation. Perhaps is ADHD, like it was for me, or perhaps it is productivity. Maybe it's weight loss. Perhaps it is helping people create more abundance or financial planning. So that is your particular niche. Maybe it's spirituality, right? And the target market is basically who are the people that you are going to be serving, who are the people that you are going to be attracting and working with. Now, this is really, really important and absolutely key to get correct. Because, well, think about this for a minute. Would you talk to a pregnant woman or a brand new mom in the same way that you would be talking to a college student? Probably not, right? Now, even if what you are doing is going to help both of them, so I'm going to take the example because one of the things that we do at our integrative wellness practice is that we offer comprehensive services for the treatment of ADHD, and we help with productivity and organization and time management and working memory and pretty much everything that it's associated with any kind of impairment with ADHD. The thing of it is that the kind of struggles that college students might have with ADHD are going to be very, very different than the struggles that a brand new mom might have. So if you are a brand new mom and you have ADHD, then you are probably in a huge state of overwhelm. You are trying to manage a new schedule, a newborn. You're trying to figure out how to breastfeed, change diapers, try to fit in a shower, and try to straighten up around your house, while all of a sudden your mind is really not working out the way that you normally function. You are forgetting appointments, and everything just seems like it's chaotic. But your entire world is really consumed about having brought this brand new being into the world and trying to figure out what is going to be the best way to take care of him or her and also take care of your needs. Now, if you are a college student, for example, that is probably one of the furthest things from your mind. Well, I hope it is. And how I need to be talking to you is basically you might be overwhelmed because you have multiple tests and different professors that have different teaching styles and are demanding different things from you. You have a group of friends that tends to call you and text you and are Instagram and Facebook and Twitter. And you also are trying to manage a job. And all of these things, all of a sudden you feel like, oh my gosh, I don't even want to get up. Like, I just want to go back to bed and not even face the world, right? Now, how I am describing these two different groups is completely different. Some of the internal problems that they might be experiencing and some of the strategies that you might be able to use in helping them might be similar. But the thing of it is that if you try to talk to both of these groups at the same time, then you're not really going to land with any of them. And then both of them are going to ignore you. And guess what? You're going to end up with way less clients or no clients than if you actually had picked one particular target market and one particular niche. Now, I am actually going to go back. Well, I'm going to be going back and forth because my brain just works that way. So as we're talking a little bit about target market, you are going to be thinking about who are the people that you really enjoy hanging out with? Who are the people that you really love working with? Who do you really get? Whose world are you really immersed in? So if you are a mom and you totally understand and totally get what's it like to have a new baby and to try to manage all of the changes that happens when you bring this brand new little being into the world, then that might be a really perfect niche because, a perfect target market, because you will know just exactly what things to say, how to talk to all of these moms, and they are totally going to gravitate and resonate with you because they will know that you totally get them. Now, if you've never had kids and you totally don't have a clue, then that is probably not your target market. So some of this is really about thinking about what do you know about and who do you really enjoy working with? Because let's be honest, the more that you like your clients, the more that you enjoy working with them, the more joyful you'll be in your work and the more mutually beneficial the relationship will be. So when you're thinking about the target market, you're also going to be thinking about, so what is the stage of life that they're in? What sorts of things do they enjoy? What things do they read? What kind of social media do they follow? Where do they hang out? What sorts of things do they spend their money on? What keeps them up at night? When you can understand and answer many of these questions, then you will be able to start getting closer and closer to your ideal target market, and you will be able to start speaking their language and resonating with them. Now, I'm going to go back to talking about niche because a lot of times we try to think about this just simply from two different perspectives and miss one or 2 points. And so a lot of times people say, well, just pick and do what you love. Some other people say, well, look at your life and see what are some of the things that you do well. What sorts of things do you excel in, or where do you have wisdom? All of those pieces of advice are actually good, but they are incomplete. And what do I mean by that is that if you only focus on those things, you may or may not end up with a financially viable business. So there are 4 main components that you need to be thinking about when picking a niche. Okay, and I want you to think about these like Venn diagrams that they're intersecting one another. Maybe 2 circles on the top and 2 circles on the side, and there is an area of intersection right at the middle. And that area of intersection is what I call the luminous prosperity spot, because this is really where the abundance and the prosperity are going to flow to you easily and almost effortlessly. I don't ever like to say that business is effortless because I think that that is a great disservice to most people. Having a business is hard. It takes some hard work, but it doesn't mean that it's not worthwhile. So let's kind of delve about those 4 areas. So obviously, the first area is, what is an area that you have particular expertise, skill, knowledge, or wisdom, right? What is something that you have to share with the world? Now, 2, the advice of pick something that you love. I think that that is really, really important. Now, how you're actually going to be thinking about this, and the exercise that I want you to be doing, is that you are actually going to be composing 4 different lists, okay? So I want you to take the first list and think about all of the things, brainstorm all of the things that are areas of expertise and skill or wisdom and experience that you can share with the world. And that will be one list. And then we're going to do each of those lists separately. And then you're actually going to look at the intersection between those lists. And then that's how you're going to arrive to that luminous prosperity. Okay? So go ahead and pause this video and then go and brainstorm and write as many things as you can in that list of skills or abilities or expertise. Okay, welcome back. So my hope is that you have written at least 5 to 10 areas, and if you can more, write more. And the reason for this is that the more areas that you write, the more ability for this area of intersection to actually come together. Okay, if you haven't done it, do pause the video and go ahead and write it. Okay, number 2. What are the things that you love to do? What do you absolutely enjoy? What brings you joy, happiness, pleasure? If you are an introvert, do you like to write? Do you like to listen to music? How do you like to communicate? Do you need to have a balance of interaction and time away? So some of these things are things that you might want to think about. But absolutely be thinking about what are all of the things that you absolutely enjoy doing. And then go ahead and pause the video and write all of these things down. Okay, so now the last 2 are actually 2 that most people don't think about a lot, if you're an idealist, you're thinking only about the 2 that I've mentioned. And if you're a pragmatist, then you're only thinking about the 2 that I'm about to mention. And then you're not really thinking about the things that you love and things that you love. So it needs to be a total combination. Okay, so the 3rd area is, I want you to think about what are things that you can get paid for. So what are skills or abilities that you have that people are willing to pay for? So you, for instance, might be an incredible musician, and people are willing to pay for music in certain ways, but not others. And so you might then start thinking about, like, okay, so would people pay for a CD? Maybe, maybe not. Would people pay for downloadable songs? Maybe, maybe not. Would people pay to go to a concert? People pay to have a particular piece of music that it is composed for a play or a dance or anything else. Do you see what I'm saying? So you now begin to start thinking about, like, what are the things that people would pay for? Now, if you have a good sense of who your target market is, then this will be really, really easy, right? Because again, if you are working with students, then you might know what are the kind of things that students are interested in, what are the kind of things that they're spending their money on. Same thing if you're working with athletes or business owners or consultants of any kind, right? So again, go ahead and pause the video, and this might seem like it is the same, but it's not exactly the same. These are basically skills that are monetizable. And a lot of times these are things that we end up getting caught up doing because sometimes people say that we're good at them or that we're actually making good money doing those things. I have worked with many actually financial planners and CEOs of major corporations who were making lots and lots of money, that were getting paid really well for their expertise, but they just dreaded going to work every single day. They had no passion, and they were not really doing anything that they were truly aligned and excited about doing. So eventually they burned out and they had to go and look for something else to do because that was not in alignment. Okay, so go ahead and pause the video and make that big list of the things that you could get paid for. Okay, welcome back. So now we're going to do the fourth area. And the fourth area is, what does the world need? And now this is one that a lot of times people miss. So we get all excited and caught up about like, I love doing this, I'm going to go do it. Or I have expertise on this and I love it, so I'm going to go do this thing. And then we don't slow down enough to think about whether there is a need for that particular thing. Now, I think that one of the, as I've worked with more and more clients, one of the things that has been reflected back to me is that this is probably one of my greatest areas of strength, and that is that I am really able to see where are the needs around us, and really being able to kind of pull together and pinpoint people's strengths and then point them towards serving a particular need that kind of gets to this luminous prosperity spot. So, and I'm not gonna say that I've gone to 17 years of college. I've taken more coaching courses and certifications that I can count. But I must say, and I must acknowledge, that there is something that it is just inherent in just how my brain works and how I see the world, that this comes naturally to me. And a good example of this happened actually when I was about 6 years of age. So I actually started trying to sell stuff at age 4, which it's another story for another time. But when I was 6, I was in a school where we weren't really allowed to get up from our seats very much, and we were in some ways kind of punished for that. And I also happened to be, I guess, a little bit of a perfectionist, surprise, and I really liked my pencils very sharp. So as we were given homework and using our pencils, then my pencil would get dull, and I just didn't want to keep doing it unless I had a sharpened pencil. So I would get up and sharpen my pencil, and every time I got up, then I got in trouble. And so then I thought, well, okay, I'm going to just get my own sharpener and I'm going to sharpen my pencil. And so I just did that. And so in order for me to not get in trouble, I would sharpen my pencil and then I'd leave the pencil shavings in my desk. Now, the thing of it is that I never really actually cleaned my desk, and those pencil shavings kind of mounted and mounted. And pretty soon there's a huge mound of pencil shavings, and I was called to the principal's office. And so basically I got into trouble because I had left this mound of pencil shavings inside my desk. So of course, I went back and I cleaned my desk and I was trying to figure out, like, what am I going to do? Like, here's a conundrum, right? Like, I get in trouble if I get up, and then I get in trouble if I leave pencil shavings inside my desk. So I need to come up with a solution to this problem. And so I went home and, my brain just percolating about this. And my mother is an ophthalmologist. And as you might know, many physicians get visited by many of the pharmaceutical reps, and they are given samples of all kinds of things. And so my mother happened to come home that day with a huge bag full of eye drops that she had been given. And, she pulled them all out, and then all of a sudden my brain just went, boom, light bulb moment, right? Like every single one of these beautiful eye drop samples were packaged in an individual clear plastic box. And I just was immediately enthralled. And I said, "Hey, Mom, what are you going to do with those boxes?" And she's like, "Nothing." And I said, "So can I have those boxes?" And she said, "Do you want the empty boxes?" And I'm like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Sure." So I immediately got to work. I emptied all the eye drops, and I gathered all the clear plastic boxes. They were cute, these cute little tiny plastic boxes that were clear. And I was so excited, and I took them to school the next day. And I took one, and of course, I was using that for my pencil shavings. And guess what? So, yep, you guessed it. I began selling these eye drop boxes. And so pretty soon, I had sold pretty much all of the eye drop boxes to all of my classmates, so that we now were able to keep our pencils sharp, our desk clean, and not get into trouble. So I know that this is kind of a long story, and it's kind of a silly story, but my point is to illustrate that when you're able to observe the world around you and notice a particular need and be able to come up with a product or a service that serves that need, then all of a sudden you are in business. Now, obviously, you now want to make a list of all of the things that you are seeing around you that the world needs, and then you want to combine that list with all of the other 3 other lists and begin to start looking at what is the point of intersection. So what you're going to be looking for is, what is a need that you can serve through your skill, your expertise, your knowledge, or your wisdom, and it's something that you totally love and enjoy doing, and it's something that your target market would be happy and eager to pay for. So this is what I call the Luminous Prosperity Spot. And I hope that this has been really helpful and useful for you. So go ahead and make those lists and let us know, what did you come up with? What is the Luminous Prosperity Spot for you? And let me know, what is the new business that you are going to be doing. So you can visit us at our website at www.luminescent-life.com. Or you can send me an email at elena@luminescent-life.com. And I look forward to hearing how you are implementing all of this information. I wish you love, light, and brilliant success.